Okay, so it is the Friday version of tech training, the last day of tech training for the week in January. It's January. We're going to learn about the agent site, the KW app, which is the consumer app. We're going to learn a little bit about the Kelly app and then the new Command mobile app. That's sort of what's up today. So what's the best place to start with here is probably how to find all of your websites and stuff like that. So let's go that. You sign in and Command. Is there anything here I wanted to show you? No. I'm going to skip all the resources today. If anybody wants to know where all the resources are, watch the first 5 minutes of any of the other videos and you'll learn how to get in touch with me and all that fun stuff where everything is. Today, we're going to kind of live in the consumer tab down here. And this is where you're going to find all the information for anything website related, anything app related that you can control. That's branded to you, or you have a profile that you're adjusting. So I always use, and you heard this yesterday, Dimitri, but so you get to hear it again. The metaphor that I use as far as the slides and the projector thing. So here we're looking at the pages, and these are the slides that you can create. So we're going to go up and create a page in a second. When we do that, it'll populate to this list, and then that will be sort of like a slide that you have, and it's not necessarily being put anywhere yet. So sort of we're gonna start with just that concept, and we'll come back around to creating a page. So these are the slides that I have in my pocket. I can use them, I can not use them, depends. I go up to site and app settings, and then I move all the way over to agent site pages. This is the quote unquote projector here, where it says like about me. You can add a page and pick any of the slides that you've got in your pocket to activate, to project onto your web page at that point. So that's kind of how that works. You'll notice that the page title isn't necessarily what it says over as the slide. So if I do add page, I can do testimonials, continue, and it just says new page down here, and I can name it whatever I want. But it doesn't have to be the name of the page of the slide in the previous one. It's just what I'm projecting. The title is only for you. So let's illustrate how all that works. I just removed that page just for now. This is my website. You can see home, about me, helpful links, all the different pages, and I've connected some social media to it down below. So if we saw like about me, you could grab it and you could rearrange it. I could move it there if I wanted to. And I could save. And the only way you're going to see that change is if you refresh your website and look at it again. So if you're working actively and you're trying to see the effect that you have on everything, you have to make sure you do it in sort of that step. Make an adjustment, save it, go to your website and refresh it. And you'll notice that this is now down here. And it'll be the same process for anything that we do. So if you're going to add a page here, name it, remove a page, go back and check your website, click the refresh button, you'll see what's updated. So that's sort of the process. Now we're going to rewind it again. We're going to go back to agent site pages where you land when you click the consumer tab. You've got all these different slides. Now you can create a new page and you're going to get two choices. One is on my agent site, which is where we just were on my site as the example. And you can add pages to that site. It's going to add to this list that's down here. The other option is as a landing page. If you've got any landing pages that you've created, they'd be here. If they're blue, they're active, and if they're not, they're turned off. So you've got ones that are live and ones that are not live. So in that sense, this page is a little bit different from this page because these are slides that you can load into the projector to your website, and landing pages are sort of a standalone web page all on their own. They're either active or they're not active. And similarly to what we learned when we were learning about designs, when you're in the designs area of Command, or if you're using like Canva or a similar program, and you can click that share button and it gives you a URL, you can go to that URL and see the design. It's the same kind of concept. You get this URL here that you can highlight or just click in this case, but I want to show you what you can do with it. You just copy it and drop it in there. You've got this landing page that you're creating. I was testing something for someone, I guess the testimonials page in this case. So those are the different choices. So what you can do with them depends on the intent. So let's take a look at a landing page. It's a little bit more straightforward first. When we look at the landing page, you're going to get these little widgets, they call them over here. You can use as many as you can stack on there. And your landing page is going to have a different set of widgets as your agent site pages will have. So one is sort of pointed towards one or the other. You'll always have the agent branding. not the way I see it. And here's a classic example of that didn't work. What do I do now? There it is. So agent branding, you can just kind of bring them all over and just to see what they look like to you. Here's a legal footer if you've got something loaded up for that. You know, if you want to advertise a listing, you can pop that in. Some of these aren't working today, so I'm going to refresh it. Maybe it'll go away and we'll have another chance. There we go. It's looking a little bit better. Branded header, footer. You can make a lead form. So this is an example of something you can do really quickly with a landing page is create this lead capture form and you'll just have it. You can use this as a moving part for some other thing you're working with. You've got another web page, or if you want to connect this to your web page, someone could click through, fill out this information, and that'll go into your command account. That's the purpose of this being a landing page. So you can use that widget for that. If you have one, you're just gonna look at it, you want it to go away, you have the little trash can icon, that'll go away. Market Snap. I hear that these are not generally accurate, so you'll have to use your own good judgment on that compared to what you know. If you want to make the adjustments, because right now it's in, looks like Austin, Texas. So this is how we learn how do we adjust these widgets. So you can pick any of these that you want. You go to configure widgets at the bottom. And if there's only one available, I think it'll just take you to, here we go, because we're doing new market snap. So we're just going to pick only that one. A little bit of trial and error will help you kind of sort things out here. So if you've got, you know, like test, save and apply, you can see where that showed up. You can do a little bit of that to kind of figure out what you're doing. So take look, save and apply. So whatever your character is, you know, when you're representing yourself to people, you know, want to kind of angle it towards that. Neighborhood is where it gets kind of fun. So postal code 27377, and then let's see if we can find a neighborhood that looks familiar. There we go. Save and apply. So just like that, you put in the postal code, you can find your neighborhood, and you've got a little snapshot here. And you can post that out there. And you can make a series of these pages that I think will update, hopefully, active statistics. And then we'll go to the next section here, agent branding. You can update that as well. Save and apply everything. And there you go. You got a quick market snap. That looks suspect to me right there. Or at least it's not properly formatted. So that's probably something weird. But the idea is you can create these pages, have them in your pocket. So if you know you're working with a neighborhood frequently, you can just create them, go back to them, refer them. You can send them out to people so that they can take a look themselves. And what it doesn't show you here is that there's always, so if we go to like contact me, I'm using this agent bio up here. And then I've got a little widget that I put in. But this section down here, this gray section will always be here. So whenever they're in this, when they're looking at it live, they should see something like that. Well, let's find out. Let's publish this page. Actually, let's name it first. Let's say Friday test. Publish. Yes. All right. So to find it again, it's always going to take you back to agent site pages. You're going to go to landing pages. I'm going to look for the Friday test page. I'll click that link because it's active. And this is what I get. Okay, so this one you have to put in your own footer. So I made a mistake earlier on that. But now it's just a web page. Someone would probably not find this random string of something in a search. So it would be really unlikely that someone would stumble on this. But you can use what you learned about linking earlier in the week to get this out to people. So you can always create, you know, a word that says click here, highlight it, hit Control K or find the link button, and then drop this into that box, and then it'll just say click here as opposed to this long ugly thing. And you can use it that way. So that's what landing pages are all about. So we go back to agent site pages. We will. My wife is getting in touch with me. So that's a whole thing that's happening right now. Let's go through agent site pages real quick. You're going to create a page on my agent site, create page. And the process is just about the same. Let me make sure that the boss is happy with me. What's up here? Okay. No, she's with them. Okay, so same process. We're creating an agent site page this time. So I'll do another example. And you'll notice that the widgets are different. You have different choices here because it's 4 different things. If you're on a team, you can bring over that widget and fill it out. If you made a mistake, get rid of the trash can thing. Contact form, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, I like the agent profile the best because I find that it's the most flexible. And I'll show you why I say that. So once you pull that over, whatever you're going to put around there, go to configure widgets. You can fill all of this stuff out. And generally speaking, this is like if you just want to have block text, this is the best place to put that because you can just fill it out indefinitely. And apply. And you can just keep on going. So if you've got a lot to say, this is the best place to kind of, because it formats it in the middle, it looks nice, it's designed to kind of be a text document in a sense. But the other thing I like about it is that it'll actually take some code. So let's figure out what I'm trying to talk about there. We're going to watch this app in a little bit watch this video about this app in a little bit. We'll use it as an example right now. So if you go to various places on the internet, you'll find little share buttons around. Google Maps will do this, and various other medias will. You can look for embed and copy this code that makes no actual sense to me, but I know that if I use it, it will put this video where I'm telling it to go. So you can put that into the agent bio, Control V to paste it, and then you can adjust the size of it here, height and width, if you need to. Make sure you're doing it proportionally so that it doesn't like squish it. And save and apply. And now you've got an embedded video. And this is one of the few places on the agent pages where you can actually put in like HTML language and it'll know what you're trying to do. So you can embed videos. You can, if you want your font to be different, you can go to figure out how that works. Where's this? It's like HTML classes. I wonder if it'll bring it up because I found it really easily. There it is. This web page I use all of the time. Well, if I'm doing web page design, I'm doing all this because I'm not really, this isn't really my area. I don't know HTML so well. But if you go to w3schools.com, it's got it all broken down. And if you want to know about like, can I change the fonts? You'll be able to find stuff like that over here. Just pick your category and it'll tell you what all of this does. This text is bold and it says this is how you do it. Gives you all the little language here. You can just highlight it and drop it in and modify it the way you need it to, even though you don't understand why they're using little carets and slashes and B's and stuff. You know that if you change this text is bold to llamas, you'll get a bold word that says llama. If you change only that part of it, and you can test it out over here and stuff like that and work with it that way. So if you're really trying to kind of get super involved and you want to know a little bit more about it, you can go here to kind of figure that stuff out. They give you little ways to kind of test it out. When it's right, you can copy that whole code over, put in the agent bio, and you can do some cool stuff that way. All right, so this is the agent site. That's how you can embed the code. Once you've got it all done there with the Friday example, you're going to want to save the changes. Yes. And remember, always find that save button and use it. Autosave is not to be trusted. Once you save an agent site page, it's going to bounce you over to where I brought you before, where we went over. It says site and app settings and then agent site pages. This is the quote unquote the projector. You're going to go add page, figure out whatever it is you wanted to add, hit continue. And now it's going to be there listed as new page. Save it. Now again, over here on your website, you refresh everything, you'll be able to see that updated change. I really wanted to say new page. So I'll go up here and call this the example. And save that. Now if I refresh it here, that should update. So you can kind of see like the process. You go one way, you make a change, you come back and check on it, make sure it's the way you want it, and go back and forth. So have those 2 tabs open and be ready to kind of work that way. We go to the Friday example, and we have this command app video that we're going to watch in a little while. But I don't want to get there just yet because I don't want to blow by anything. So let me take a look. Arranging and creating landing pages. We created a demo page. The front page. So every agent site has the same front page. You can make some changes, but not the layout. Like this box here will always be here. There'll always be something written here. You can change what's written there. We learned about the marketing profile, how to change these and that. The same down here, but the top page has to be this. So when everybody puts in whatever your URL is, you're going to end up on something that looks like this. Your background will probably have some cool pictures of like houses and stuff, and bird's eye view houses and interiors and things. And where you go to change that is general. So you'll notice that these two pictures are what rotates back here. Wait, that was good timing, because usually that takes a little while. But you can put in up to 5 and it'll rotate through them all. But so I did it so that they were exactly lined up and they just change colors. So it's kind of a cool effect, and it just goes from red to black. I was proud of myself for that. So it doesn't look like it's 2, because it kind of fades into one and into another. So it just looks like it's changing colors. But you can just put whatever pictures you want there up to 5. Make sure that the pixels are proper here. If you have questions about how to resize something, get in touch with me and I can help you with that. It's super easy. But we'll talk. I should actually talk more about that in designs class. Design goals. Because I feel like that's a really common issue that people will encounter. They have a picture that they really like, but they can't get it to fit in the box that's required. It'll get squished or something. So I'll make sure I touch on that. This is the, okay, so you've got 2 different, what they call hero text. This is the hero text. Here, it's the top line. So here, find your dream home. We'll change that to my tech website. I'm really excited about it. Save those changes and refresh it. There's what that does. So we're going to talk about the command app next. That's the same idea here. So your app test hero text. When we get into your app, the top line stuff, that's what that's going to say. You'll be able to change that here. Cool, that's kind of neat. We'll have to check that. What's going on there? All right, so to find where your website is, because if you're newer and you got a command website and all these logins and everything, and you're like, I don't want a website, you kind of already have a website, it comes with command, it's out there. Again, it's probably not something people are just going to stumble on because it's got a really particular URL. So mine is jonathanmontrose.kw.com. Everybody filled out what they wanted that to be in their questionnaire, whether it's a transfer questionnaire or not, I think. To find it, you have to click on URLs here. I'm not going to click URLs because mine is a test thing, and every time I click it, command crashes. So I'm not going to go there today, but that's where you would go to find your website and your command, your consumer app URL. So you would want to bookmark that somewhere for your website. So you have it, you can share it, and you can start to strategize on how you want to use your website. So kind of like put yourself in sort of a case study of, why do I want someone to be at my website? What are they getting out of it? Am I pushing them there so they can fill out a form? Are they finding themselves there so they can get more information about me? Is it both? Do you want them to use it for the search function on the top page? Whatever it's going to be, when you start designing your web pages, you want to keep that strategy in mind so that only what needs to be there is there. I'm trying to keep it streamlined. The URL below that you're going to find is the consumer app. And this is the one, I think like a year ago, the consumer app had a lot of trouble. So if you talk to some agents that have been here for a year or longer, they're going to be like, you'll say consumer app, and they're going to be like, they're not going to feel good about it. It took a little while. Even in the last few months, it's really streamlined. It works really well now, I think. And I think that it's a really powerful way to communicate between you and a client. So we'll get to why that is in just a second. The URLs you'll find down there is the URL to your consumer app specifically. So when somebody downloads the app from that URL, it'll open up and it'll ask them, okay, who are you? Sign in or create a profile. They'll probably have to create a profile, and they'll put in like their name and their email and whatever it is. And then it's your app that you shared with them, not just any old random one. When they fill that out, it's going to go to your contacts list. So that person will be like, ping straight to your command. They'll be on your contacts list, and you'll be able to interact with them from that point. So once they've signed in and they start doing home searches, right on that top page, which looks a lot like this home search page, just kind of shrunk down and streamlined a little bit to be accommodating to tiny screens. If they pick something off of this list and click the little heart button, like save this search, it'll go to your timeline in your contacts, and you'll be able to see that. And you can make sure they know that. So if they want to communicate to you, like, hey, I'm thinking about buying houses, but I'm not ready to like fully commit yet. This is what I was thinking. You can start to get an idea of what it is that they're looking for, and you can start that communication. Or if you're already looking for houses, you can communicate back and forth. because you can go into your contacts list and create a save search there to send them a house that you think they might be interested in, so that you can send them things to look at, they can send you things to look at, you can see what they've been looking at. So if you think they're looking for a very specific kind of something, and then out of nowhere, they start looking at like 5 things that are very different, you know that maybe it's time to pump the brakes and get in touch with them. It just gives you that moving part to work with. So what's up?
So is there a way to like embed a QR code with that? So
Yeah. Yeah.
someone can just,
I don't think there's a way that Command spits you out a QR code for that, but there are ways to make QR codes that are easy breezy. I think you can just type in QR code, and there's all these like free services. If any QR code generator tries to charge you money, run away, because these are all free. You shouldn't have to pay any money for this stuff at all. So you can just go here and go to QR generator and just follow the directions if you're just going to use it once or twice. Canva actually has a nice one. Canva. Canva.com. And this is sort of like a design program. I think it functions a lot like the Command Designs. It's a little bit more streamlined. Someday I think Command Designs will be as functional as Canva. I think that's what they're trying to do. But for now, this is a good way. This is a good resource to have. You can go back and forth between the two. And again, just remember that, you know, when you're in designs, it's got that resource library of all of the logos and pictures, and KWLS, if you want to bring in like a listing or something like that, that's all there. So it's got a lot of advantages to having all those templates and access to the listings and, you know, all of those things. While we're here, because we were talking about pixels anyway, if you go to create design, custom size, you can put in the width and height of your pixels. Now be careful, because I think a lot of the pixels that you read listed out in height by width. So just make sure you're being particular about which one goes where, and you're not doing it backwards, because you'll get, you know, a tall rectangle as opposed to a landscape rectangle. So just pay attention to that. But if you've got a picture that you want to bring in that's like 360 by 360, just create a canvas that is exactly that. Create new design, and then just import your picture to it and make sure it fills it out. Save it, and it should fit like glove wherever you're trying to put it after that. Now, stuff you can do here, I've used it before, but this might not actually be here for you. So if you can't find it on the left in Canva, you can just go QR code, and it should bring you up some stuff somehow. You just got to do a search for it. But QR code, you bring it in, put in the URL, whatever you're trying to find. So we'll say this is the URL to, actually, let's use, what are we going to use? Use my website top page. You can do this exact same process with the consumer app, which was the original question. Just put that in there, generate code, and there it is. And I am using the 100% cheapskate free Canva. So again, if anybody tries to charge you for a QR code, you know, politely run away, because you don't need to do that. And if you're using it in Canva and using that for different designs, you can then just move it around just like any other picture. And that's the cool thing about QR codes, is that it is just, in fact, only just a picture. It's just a bunch of, it's nothing magical. So you can actually take your phone, you know, people over there can see me or not. As long as I can fit it to the camera, it'll be like, hi, I see that. And it'll just work. Did you get yours to zoom in? And there it is. It'll see it, and you'll just poke it, and it'll take you wherever it is you're trying to go. So those of you that are watching this recording, you can pause YouTube right now, use that QR code, and you'll go to my website, as long as my website still exists as of when you're watching the recording. But that's all there is to it. QR codes are really powerful. I feel like they're underutilized. It's just a quick way to get your information out there. So if you want to put it on like a virtual business card or your regular business card or whatever you're doing, it's just another way for people to quickly get where you're trying to get them without having to worry about tripping over remembering a bunch of stuff. So 2 lessons there, and I'm gonna make a note of the QR code. This is why I like when people actually join me. Actually, the content grows. QR codes and pixels, and 2 things I'm gonna add to this class. I might add that to the designs class though. So let's X out of that. All right, so okay. So once you have your URL from Command, copy it, paste it into an email, send it to yourself, download your version of the command app so that it has your picture on it and it has your contact information on it. And then you can share that out with people from the app. I should really make friends with the share my phone thing. If I can quickly do it, I'll do it. Let's see. Yeah. I'll save that for another tech day. So you're going to want to get the app that way. And then what you'll notice is once you log in, I don't know if people are ever able to see it. You'll see a screen that looks a lot like that. And then in the bottom corner, you'll see the More button. You click that, and scroll down, scroll around, you'll see that at the top it just says user test because I have a test account. You scroll down a little bit, it'll say share the KW app. If you poke that, it'll bring up just some stuff and you can pick whoever it is that you want to send your app link to, and it'll just go to their text and they can poke it there and they'll download your app specifically. Again, if they go to the app store and just download the consumer app that way, it's not going to connect to anything. It'll just be a search function on their phone. So you won't have that advantage of the connectivity to your command. So if they found themselves doing that, you can encourage them to remove it from their phone and download yours. And then you'd have that connectivity again. So let's see here. Save searches, the URL.
And it is not a virtual contract.
No, it's not. What do you mean by virtual contract? I guess, but no,
So,
it's probably the answer.
so like, oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times I've encountered like someone being like, oh, well, is this mean that you're my agent now? I'm like, no, because you signed anything. I just downloaded it.
No, this is just you being nice, and it's a great way to get someone to start to trust you and to work with you too. So you figure a lot of it is like, how can I quickly figure out what kind of a house I want? Here's a really kick butt search program that you can use. It's pretty good. And if the app is if they don't find themselves on the phone, they'd rather do a search on their computer. Again, you get them to your web page. That top page that everybody has is required to have. That's a really good search function. It's connected to like everything. So definitely a great place to go are those two search functions. And again, you're getting them to your web page. They're going to see your face, your name. If they want to reach out to you because they're starting to warm up to the idea, they just have to scroll down to the contact form. They can reach out to you that way. Or they'll see your phone number and email down there too. So if they're here and they're searching and they're like, you know what, this guy's making a lot of sense, I'm gonna send him a text. It's right there. So I suppose I'll show this. And I'll definitely have to blur out a bunch of stuff because I'm going to my contacts. And I really need to take all the contacts out of my list and put in a bunch of dummy ones so I don't have to do this anymore. So here we are. If you were in contact, someone had this app. I've got my own self in here because I test things out on me. Everyone should have their own self in their contacts list so they can do stuff exactly like this. So I'll show you an example. So that's shared right now. I'll go to my app. I'll hold it up right here because I'm actually getting this to show up on the screen. It's not just glaring out, which is pretty cool. So let's go to search and I'm going to pick this random 100K house for whatever reason. And I'm going to say that I like this. I'm going to put it into create a list and I'll call it I like this. Save. Now I'm doing this as a consumer. I'm pretending I am a person who is working with me, as in I'm two different people. You can only look at your app as though you are a consumer, in other words. So I've saved that. Neat. So now that's happened and I'm in command, just doing my commandy thing, and I hit refresh at some point or load it up. It'll say today, January 21st, 2022, created collection. I like this. He's got a new save search. He likes lot number 38 on Lakeshore Drive for some reason. So it just went straight to your command like that, just moments later. So if you're like, okay, well, if you like that, let's go to save searches. I'll show you something. And then you can create, whatever it is you want. We'll go by neighborhood again. Redwood Farms. Put in whatever price range you want. Next, let's figure out what we can call it. Check this out. You can send email notifications to them if you want. I'm going to switch that out because I always forget to turn them off and I get emails from myself. But now they have a save search that they can, it'll can be like, hey, check all this stuff out. I think there's a way to do that more specifically too. type, sale, beds, living area. There it is. Maybe find on that. What's here? The curse of teaching is it never works the way you remember it working when you're trying to teach somebody. But you can just click something that way as well. Yard, property selected, houses and condos. And what I'm missing is I think there's a way to just send someone just specifically a house. And I'm missing that right now. But I swear there's a way to do it. So you can just create another one. Timeline, rate save search. This is to add a contact or something, I think. Add activity, add notes, add calendar event. I don't use that very much because it's not relevant to teaching. It's more for people that are having their own things. But here's the part I wanted to show. Once that's happened, we can go to saved, and we should be able to see right here, the one that I just made. I don't know if this is showing up, another one. So I've got something back from myself as an agent. And now I've got all this other thing that I can look at, and I can scroll around in this neighborhood for the different houses that are there. So it goes both directions like that. I think that's all I want to talk about with the consumer app. Do you want to know anything else about the consumer app?
Not really, because it's answering like a lot of questions about it.
That's good.
Because honestly, at first, like when I first got it last year, it was like distinct points.
It was really buggy. Like I started in, I want to say June. And when I got it then, it was like freezing up and crashing out, and everything would turn inside out once in a while. Like it was kind of trouble. But even like since then, I've been astounded. It's a lot smoother now. Which is again why I'm making that point, because if you're going to talk to a more seasoned agent and you say the consumer app, they've got a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth on it. So it might be worth your time to kind of just figure it out for yourself, see if you like it. You could try to convince them that they should check it out again. They probably won't listen because people are used to how they work. Whatever they get used to working is kind of where people stick.
Right.
But this is one of those ones where I think like it's fair to say give it another shot for sure. It's come a very, very long way.
I've looked at it past too.
Has it?
I've had like a couple of customers look at it and download it, and then it like crashes on them all the time.
Yeah.
If this app is like a reflection, I'm like, no. It's not a
Yeah.
reflection, man.
That's tough to recover from. And I think that's a lot of why some people are just like not even, they don't even think about it anymore as a thing. But again, put yourself on your context list, test it up, find out for yourself. Send yourself a save search, use it, pretend you're someone that doesn't know anything about it, and do some searches, use it the way you would expect to use it. And see for yourself if it's any better. Because if it works the way it's designed, I can see a lot of power in it, being able to communicate, especially everyone's constantly sitting on their couches, flipping through their phones, waiting for COVID to pass and the snow to go away, like, okay, so that's agent sites. We talked about the consumer app. There's this other app called the Kelly app. This is the one that never got better. So the Kelly app was supposed to kind of be like your little virtual buddy. It was supposed to tell you about things that happen in Command, different things that happen in consumer apps, supposed to get a lot of notifications, and it never came together the way that they wanted it to. And instead of fixing it, they slammed on the brakes. They put out a notification saying we're no longer supporting the Kelly app, but it can still send you notifications, so it's kind of still worth having. And we're putting everything into the Command mobile app instead. As of right now, as I understand it, the Kelly app, the only thing it can really be, it's got things on it that says that it does things. None of them are to be trusted. The only thing you can really trust in the Kelly app is that it will give you a notification. So some people have described it as a command pager. I think that's entirely fair. In that, did you ever have a pager like way back?
No, I wanted one, but
I had a pager for like a half an hour, and then like, cell phones became more common, but it was actually, it's a little less functional than an old school pager, because a pager would give you like a phone number. It would say like, this phone number is trying to get in touch with you. You'd have to go and call it. The Kelly app was just going to be like, panic, something changed, but it can't tell you what. It's going to be like 1,000 notifications. I don't know, maybe 2. I don't know. It has no idea what it's talking about, but it knows something happened. So it's just going to be like buzz, which is pretty much just saying, go to command, something changed, go check it out.
right.
And that's what Kelly is good for. And right now it has all of the notifications, like it will ping you on any of them that command will ping on. And the command mobile app almost has all of the notifications. So if you're working with those notifications a lot, right now it's still worth your time to have the Kelly app and the command mobile app on your phone so that you can interact with both of them. If you're not really notifications driven, ditch the Kelly app as soon as you can, is my advice. I get it off of my phone. I don't love that I have to teach it. I can't wait for the class that comes around that I get to say like, the Kelly app is finally gone. I'll probably have some kind of a cool explosion animation and stuff. Just because it doesn't do what it says. It's got a lot of writing on it. And so it's easy to get in there and to poke around and feel like it has a lot that it can do, but most of it doesn't work. So you get frustrated in there. Now the command mobile app, on the other hand, works really well. And they're starting a lot smaller. So instead of rolling out a command version that can be on your phone in entirety, they're saying, okay, we're going to focus on anything we release, we're going to release perfectly, or we're going to release less of it at a time. So they released, and we'll go through this in this little Sydney Seymour is our regional tech trainer. She's the one that tells me how to do stuff tech related. And then I go from there. She's got a 7-minute video here that's all about the command app. And right now the command app can do contacts list. It can, you can call people and text people from it. It's not going to talk about it in this video, but they just rolled out Twilio connectivity to it. So if you're using Twilio to text people, you can choose to text people from your command app, either through Twilio or your phone. You can choose. Calls will go from your through your phone. And you can put people on smart plans, but you cannot create or modify smart plans. So if you have a stock smart plan that you want to be able to put people on the fly, they create in command. And then on your phone, you can be like, okay, I don't want to miss this opportunity. I just met somebody, you can put them into your contacts list and add them to that smart plan to get them going. It's kind of like get them started kind of a thing. And I think task lists are also active. So if you're using command to organize your day with tasks, they'll populate there. Or if a smart plan populates to your task list, you'll see it there. But let's look at this, our Sydney Seymour video. I'll try to be quiet. I'll probably fail.
Hello, KW agents. I hope you're doing well. This is Sydney Seymour, Regional Technology Trainer for the Carolinas region, Labs Advisor, KWU approved instructor, and I am here today to talk about the Command app. So as of today, it is live in the App Store for iPhone users. We're waiting for Android, should be released soon, but wanted to just jump on and create a really quick video that kind of walks you through some of the top features and how you can go ahead and get started. So once you've downloaded the app, you're going to log in with your username and password. That's going to be the same username and password that you use for your Keller Williams command login. If you have questions or need help with that, reach out to your Market Center tech trainer and they can definitely help you figure out that you have the correct username and password. So we have logged into this and we are looking at the dashboard, and I love the layout of this. We've got contact tasks right up here. Anything that's due today, anything that's due soon, or anything that is past due is going to show right up here. Underneath, we've got leads that have never been contacted. That's essentially a smart view that we're looking at. And then recently active. So anybody that's recently been active, maybe on your consumer app or on your websites, we definitely want to make sure we're paying attention to that. Now, down here in birthdays, it's going to show us for the next 30 days, anybody in our database that we have an upcoming birthday for or a home anniversary. So we want to make sure, number one, that we've entered those details into the contact record so that we're going to see that here. And that number two, we're looking at this to make sure that we're reaching out to them and just saying happy birthday or celebrating them on another year of having their home. Underneath that, we're going to see profit share updated for the month. So that's really nice. At a glance, we can take a look at that. Now at the bottom, you'll see all the different applets that you can take a look at. Now remember, this is the first version. So what we'll talk about today a little bit is contacts, some of my favorite things that we've got in here. So we're going to go into contacts and we're going to look at all of our contacts over on the left. Once we go into there, I'm just going to scroll down till I get to myself and show you some really cool functionality that we've got when we're looking into a contact. Now I can search up here at the top. I can filter just like we can on command in the desktop. So let's go into myself as a contact and you'll see I've got some really great functionality here. So if you're on the go and you realize, oh, I need to call that person or I need to send that person a text message, as long as we have those contact details, we can do that in here with the literal click of a button. And then you guys check this out. So let's say that I call this person, we're going to call them. I'm calling myself. We have a great conversation, talk to them. In the call, look what pops up. Would you like to add this call to the timeline? We're going to say yes. Then we can come in here. It already logs it as an interaction type of a phone call, the date we talked. And then down here in the description, we could put whatever we spoke about, hit that save button, automatically updated. And again, that box is going to pop up. So it's really going to allow you to keep track of how you're just having those conversations. Same thing with text message and then email next to it. Now, a note about this is going to use your native phone services. So what do we mean by that? This is not using Twilio or any other email. This is, if you notice when I called myself, it picks up just how I would call from a phone. So it's coming from your phone number. Same with text messages. We're texting directly from your phone number.
Now you have the choice between using Twilio or what she's talking about here.
Now over here, you guys are definitely going to want to check out these 3 dots over here. If we click onto that, a lot of times I hear agents say, well, I've got a contact in command and I want to make sure they're also in my phone. Boom. Just click right there and then save contact to my phone. It would create a new record or save them to that. And then share my KW app link. This is awesome. You'll be able to click directly on that, send that app link out. We don't have to go into the other app, share it, so we can run everything through here. Now, you might notice that at the top of the page here, we've also got timeline. So we're looking at anything, how we've had interactions with that particular contact. We can look at all activity. We can go in and sort. You'll see that phone call that I just made already came up right there in the timeline. Let's talk about smart plans. Let's say that this was a contact, a lead that maybe I met at the open house and they didn't fall in love with the house that we saw today. However, I want to make sure that I keep them as a lead and I have them in my database. And I just want to make sure that I'm following up. So easy, you guys. We can click that button at the bottom, immediately add them to any smart plan you have in your library. We can even come up here and search. So if we're talking about that open house, maybe I'm just going to search by that. I've got any open houses that I want to add them to, open house follow-up, click on that. More details at the bottom just to make sure we're good. Check that box, hit confirm, and they are set up on that smart plan. So this, we talk about speed to lead follow-up. It's literally at your fingertips. If we go back one, we're going to take a look really quickly at just tasks. Again, we'll have tons of more videos, you guys here. This would show any upcoming tasks that you have. I've wiped mine clean for the day, so I'll give myself a gold star around that. We'll also have the ability to come down here and to add a new contact task. So let's say that I did want to make a phone call to someone. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set that task. And I'm going to add or remove a contact. So down at the bottom, we're just going to associate a contact with that. And we'll just do this test contact. And then I'm going to mark this as a call task and we're going to hit save. What you guys can do when you come into tasks. So imagine that you could come in and your personal assistant, which we're going to say is the command app, can tell you, here's who you need to call today. Here's what you need to do. We can do that easily by coming into that task applet, again, down here at the bottom, and toggling that call task only on. I love this. So I can come in here and say, okay, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be making phone calls to? And then we can click on those 3 dots next to it at any time to reschedule it, view that contact, edit, complete, or archive that. So really, really great functionality with tasks in there. And then one final little thing that I want to show you guys is the ability to check out those notifications. So you'll notice at the top right, I've got my notifications. This will also show up as a bubble on command, the command app as well. But let's go into that. And are there ever times that you guys are getting some notifications and you're like, oh, I got to deal with that. However, I've got a fire going on with this buyer I'm working with, right? So I can't necessarily deal with that right now. I can come in here and let's say that I come in here and I want to add a task around that. So it's something that I want to make sure that I do. I want to follow up with them or anything like that. Click on the 3 dots. You can immediately add that as a task, which I love. Let's say I mark this as red by accident, or I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll deal with that later. Let's go into my red notifications. And if I say, oh, I actually need that to be more front and center, I'm just going to click on those 3 dots and I can easily mark that as unread. And then that lives in my unread notifications. So you guys download the app today. I think you're going to really, really love it. It allows you to work on the go in many, many different capacities. This is video number 1. We'll dive in deeper. Just wanted to get this out to all of you for a really quick overview. And again, thanks so much for taking time to watch this. You guys have an awesome day. Thanks so much. Bye.
There we go. That's from our regional tech trainer, Sydney Seymour. She knows everything about tech. Let me see. So just to kind of just kind of describe it. So we learned about sort of 4 different moving, technically what, 1, 2, 3, 4 different moving parts. So there's the agent site pages, the landing pages, they're kind of related. So we learned about web design stuff. Then there's technically 3 apps out there. The consumer app, what we call it, and that one is a white icon with a red KW in it. So if you're looking for the KW consumer app, and then the Command Mobile app is the opposite. It's a red icon with a white KW in it. And then the Kelly app is a blue icon that you should hopefully never have to see. And then there's a smattering of other KW apps that you can easily get lost in. So make sure that when you're looking for it, you're looking for specifically like consumer app or Command Mobile app, so you get exactly what you're expecting to get. I think that's all the content that I have for today. Do you have any questions that should be recorded on YouTube? All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to the Friday class, and I will see you all the next tech training, which I guess will be next month. Have a great month.